So she gets frustrated and mad and then throws the knife at my mom, and it passes, like, glazes right through her face, and it falls at my feet. Alright, hey, good morning guys. So I decided I'm gonna do story time. I've always wanted to do this kind of video. People really like story time because you get to know the other person, and then also story times are always juicy and entertaining. And the story time that I decided to do today was my brother gets possessed. Okay, so my brother doesn't really get possessed. I'm not sure if I don't think he did. He was doing a lot of drugs like cocaine and hadn't slept in over a week. I am from East Palo Alto, which was a very bad city growing up. There was a lot of violence, teen pregnancies, a lot of dropouts from middle school and high school. So also, before I continue, I do want to say a few things. One of them being, like, I don't condone, is that the right word? Like, I don't approve of other people doing anything I've mentioned in this video. I don't agree with it. I wouldn't recommend anything from this video. I just want to tell you guys a little story and my experience going through it. I think I was like 13, 12 to 13. I was just turning 13 or something like that. About to be 13. So I don't know what my brother is doing. I don't know why he's doing any of this, but at the time we were living in a house with 21 people, and it was like a drug house. So people would go there and pick up drugs. I don't know what kind of drugs. I just know that there was like whispers around about the owner selling stuff and people selling stuff there. And even one time, I'm pretty sure I'll do another story time where I talk about the house. I got home and like everybody was lined up, and there was like a bunch of cops everywhere searching everyone, all lined up against the wall. So I mean, something would happen in that house. I wouldn't really get involved, but I know things happened in that house. So anyway, my brother was doing cocaine and I don't know what other stuff, and I don't know why. I really don't know why. And he lived in an added on room, which was just a bunch of board walls added onto this house we lived in. And so it was just like these board walls that were drilled together. So there wasn't any kind of insulation, any kind of protection. I'm sure they were breathing in stuff they probably shouldn't be breathing. I bet it was really cold. And me and my mom stayed in another room, but it was actually like a room. But the thing was that it was too small, and we used to have everything in there. So it was like our fridge, our gallon of water, clothes, dresser, bed, everything fit in that one room, which wasn't very big. So I also want to mention I've only gotten 3 hours of sleep, which is like not good. But I surprisingly feel fine because I have adrenaline. I have to go to Cayucas to print some tote bags for the art show that I have coming up, and I'm stressed out. I couldn't sleep. I was finishing stuff last minute, so I'm up late. I'm just tired, guys. I don't know how I'm gonna function and drive 2.5 hours all the way over there and be alive. And my stomach's been growling. I didn't really eat that much last night. But anyway, back to story time. I feel like this is gonna be all over the place because this is my first story time with you guys. So I don't really know how to do these, and I've never done them. I don't know how my future self's gonna appreciate that's all over the place. How am I gonna edit this? What am I gonna include? What am I not gonna include? So I'm just gonna wing it and go with it. See how it goes. So where were we at? Just I'm gonna mention a little bit about my family's backstory. Like, my parents are immigrants, and so my mom is from Mexico, Guatemala, and then my dad is from Mexico City, so like the main part of Mexico, like the middle part, which is also known as the F.A., and it's wild there and everywhere really, but Mexico is wild. My dad was actually telling me that some girl was going to the bank and there was a bunch of people there during daylight, and someone just took her money and beat her up and no one did anything. And I guess they don't have security guards, and just like a bunch of stuff, like security guard can't even do anything unless he gets shot at, and Mexico has some interesting unfair rules, but that's another story for another day, I guess. Back to my story about my brother. He walks in. It's just gonna go intense right now. I don't know how long he had been doing drugs, probably for like a whole week or something, that he didn't sleep, and I don't know why. He was cleaning out that board, his room, the boarded up room, and he walks in naked into my mom's and my room, because the girls stayed in there, and he starts talking weird. He's naked, starts saying, I need to F Jasmine, or something around those lines, like pointing at me and saying that he needs to, do something to me. Because he's on drugs. I don't know what's going on in his head. I don't know who's telling him what in his head. So he just comes in there and says that, he needs to F me, like do things to me. And my mom gets upset, and this is the middle of the night. It's like 3 a.m. Or something like that, or I don't know, it's late. And my mom's like, you know what, you stay here, let's go. She tells my brother, like, let's go. And he's like all mad and angry and upset, and I don't even understand. It's kind of interesting. I don't know if I would say that was really traumatizing. It was scary, and I was kind of taken back by it, like what's going on. But I don't know if it was just normal for me to go through weird stuff like this, or what happened. I honestly, I don't know. Like, the whole, I don't know, like, my brother has done some weird stuff, and he's schizophrenic. I don't think we knew at the time, and he also still has depression. So I've just gotten better about it, and I'm kind of like, well, that's my brother. Like, what can I do? So I don't think it was really traumatizing. Like, I think what was more traumatizing was when I saw the whole household line up against the wall. Not even the whole household, because I'm sure some of them weren't there. And the cops searching them, because I jumped the back fence and to the house when that happened. And I saw all our stuff was thrown all over the floor. Our door was broken into, so we didn't have a lock or a doorknob for I don't know how long, until I kept asking my mom to get one. That was probably more traumatizing, to see that a lot of our stuff were broken, and we didn't even have that much like nice things. I had like this little cheap tablet that I got probably from like the flea market or something, and they just stomped on it, so it was all cracked. It sucks because we didn't have anything that was like really nice. We didn't have I guess up-to-date technology and things like that, so it just kind of sucked. And I probably shouldn't have jumped that fence, but anyway, I wasn't really traumatized by my brother telling me that. Who knows? Maybe I was, because I don't really talk about that story. I don't think anyone knows that story besides like my husband. But that's it. I don't think I've told anyone this story. And obviously my other brother that was there, because it's me, my oldest brother, and the middle brother. And this is the oldest brother I'm talking about. Alright, so my mom tells me to stay behind after my brother came into her room and started saying weird stuff. So I don't really know what happens here, just what my mom tells me, which is pretty much that there was this, she was praying over him, you know, like trying to get whatever was in him out, because my mom believed in like bad spirits and things like that. And she wouldn't let me go over there because he was trying to do things to me and like charge at me. So I wasn't allowed to go with her and to the back room, which wasn't really a room, you know, it was boarded, just boards. And she called her friend, which was also super religious, and they started praying over him. And she told me that this doll started to go off. It was a Mickey Mouse doll, and she said that they've had it for years and it's never done that before, and it wasn't even on, and it started to like sing and sound distorted. So this is just what my mom says, and she said she had to like rip out the batteries because it wouldn't turn off. So she had to rip out the batteries, and I don't really know how they calmed down my brother, or if they even really, what happened to him. I don't remember. I need to ask my other brother. I'm sure he knows and remembers more clearly, because I probably pushed down a lot of, suppressed a lot of memories during those years of my life. So probably don't remember anymore. That place also, like, the neighbor tried killing my parents, so it was pretty hectic place to live. Things were always happening there. I don't know if shortly after, I'm pretty sure shortly after that happened, that my brother finally calmed down. He ended up showing me his drugs, like his cocaine, and telling me about it and showing it to me. And then my other brother, he was doing other drugs that my oldest didn't agree to keep doing. So he ended up being taken to the hospital because he went into like a bad trip. So he had eaten hot Cheetos before doing whatever he did, and then he threw up because I guess he did too much. So then he started freaking out because he thought he was like on drugs, and he thought that allergy season. He thought he was bleeding from inside his body, so started freaking out. And my oldest brother, I don't know what he was doing, and he was probably also on drugs. And that same day that he showed me his drugs, they called the ambulance. My mom was like freaking out. I don't even remember. I'm pretty sure this was shortly after because, yeah, it was shortly after because my brothers were still there. So the ambulance ends up coming, and my mom's like, oh, here, freaking out, and I told her, give me the phone, let me talk to the ambulance, and then I start freaking out. Cause I don't know, my brother wasn't doing good. I don't really remember where he was. He just wasn't okay. He was like freaking out. Don't really remember all the details. Like I said, I probably pushed away all these memories. Okay, so the ambulance ends up coming, and the lady on the phone, tells me to calm down, cause I took the phone from my mom because she was freaking out, and then I started freaking out. So she just said, in a relaxed voice, to where do we live and all of that. And they finally get there. They rip my brother's shirt, like they cut it in half, and then they start doing I don't know what they're called, like those pads, electric shock with the pads. I don't even think he needed them because he was just on drugs, guys. Like, he was fine. He was just having a bad trip, thinking about I don't know what in his trip. Probably not fun things that are kind of scary. He probably thought he was dying or something. And he leaves, and then there's cops. So then they end up searching my older brother, and they find the cocaine he had, and then they end up taking him to jail. So then that day, my oldest brother's in jail, and my other brother is in the hospital because he had a bad trip. He ended up being okay. I think we were all really young during the time. I always imagined my brothers being like way older, but one of them is only 2 years older, and the other one is, I think, 4 or 5, probably 5 years older. So I don't know. One of them must have been 18 or a little younger than 18, and then the oldest was probably like 20 or a little bit younger than 20. So we were all kids. We were all young. So honestly, I have no idea where to take this story now because that's pretty much the whole story. I don't really remember what else happened or how anything happened because all the details are just erased from my mind. I could tell you guys about how the neighbor, a little bit more about how wild that house was, and where my brother is now, like an update on him after that happened. Was he okay or not? I'm sure he ended up coming back home a few days after, and my other brother was too young for him to go to jail or something. And my dad, shortly after that incident, was deported. And I guess I'll tell you guys about how the person that lived right next door to us, because remember how this was a house full of 21 people, not including dogs too, and another guy lived in the back. The place was also boarded, his spot, but not as nice as my brother's, and it was a lot smaller. So there was a guy that lived back there, and then there was a guy that lived next, a family that lived next to my mom and I. There was a lady there that, I don't know, she used to take medication and stuff, or I'm not sure what, I don't know what. But one day my mom was washing dishes sitting on this little tiny rocking stool, and she just turned on like the water faucet outside because we would wash our dishes in a bucket and fill it up with water and soap and just sit there and wash dishes. So my mom was doing that, and she was washing a pan, and I guess that the reflection of that pan, she saw the girl coming with a knife behind her, and she turned around and used the pot first, and then I guess she used the stool, or she used the stool that she was sitting on to defend herself. And then my dad happens to walk in because I was in my brother's room, and I hear commotion, so then I go and I like see what's going on. And as soon as that happened, my dad came in, and then she tries going towards my dad, and all my dad has is like this blue lawn, I don't know what it's called, it's this blue thing that you put for shade, and you can cover trucks with it and the back of trucks, and it's like this blue thing. It's kind of like a canvas or so it's just this little sheet that probably wouldn't have defended my dad if she stabbed hard through it, but he was trying to dodge her. And I don't know why she did that and, tried killing my parents, but then she couldn't get either of them, so she gets frustrated and mad and then throws the knife at my mom, and it glazes right through her face, and it falls at my feet. So I think the cops came and picked her up after that, but then she ended up coming back home, and we all still talked to her and hung out with her even after that happened. So it was nothing too, I guess, wild or surprising, I guess. Okay, so I'll just continue talking about this house because that was the whole story. of my brother getting possessed, and I'm still not done with my makeup. So something else that happened at that house was I told my friend about, you know, things that were happening, and he called the cops to come check up on me, and I didn't want to talk to the cops. So I ended up going to the roof and trying to hide from the cops, and like my parents didn't know where I went or what happened to me. They were like, "Oh, she's not here, she left." And I was there. I was watching them from the roof. I just didn't say anything. And then I did the same back to my friend because I was mad that I opened up to him, and he ended up, you know, calling cops on me, and it was embarrassing. And plus that our house is like already, they don't want drama because, you know, they sell drugs there and stuff, or something, I don't know. So after that happens, I see a bag up there, and I just randomly used to hang out up in the roof, and I see a bag. Hey guys, so my camera ended up dying. Back to what I was saying. I found a bag up on the roof, and I don't know, I went back to it and I got it, and I realized it was like a bunch of clothes. It was like all red. So just a bunch of red clothes. I didn't think much of it. I was just like, oh, like my brothers can use this clothes. I don't know why anyone would leave this up here, or why it was just wrapped up here. So I give it to one of my brothers, or both of them, and they end up wearing all that clothes. I guess it turns out that clothes was actually one of the guys that lived there, and I don't know why he just threw all his red clothes up there. I guess he was part of a gang or something, because why would he have all this red clothes? And he ended up, I didn't know this until my brother told me, that he came up to one of my brothers, or probably both of them, and aimed a gun at them and said to take off his clothes. So my brother had to take off his clothes like right there and then, and just get naked at that house because he was wearing his clothes. I didn't know, and I feel bad. I still feel bad thinking about making my brother go through that situation because I got some dumb clothes off the roof. I don't know why he even threw it up there if he didn't want it. Why would you throw it? Why wouldn't you throw it away? I don't know what that guy was thinking, but I was just thinking, oh, clothes, we don't have much of that. Let me give this to my brothers. I'm sure they would like it. Looks like it fits them. I didn't think much of it, so I felt bad. And then how my brother is doing, or how it was with him. We ended up moving from that house. I was almost not going to graduate middle school because, well, I was, but my mom wasn't going to be able to go because we were kicked out of that house. I don't know, my mom ended up having a hard time paying rent after my dad was deported, or what was going on. I guess she wasn't paying rent or something. My mom wouldn't ever tell me about this kind of stuff. So she said that she wasn't going to be able to make it because we had to find somewhere to move that day. Like, we were kicked out and we weren't allowed to go back or something. So I had to figure out somewhere to go. One of my friends ended up offering us a place to go. Yeah, so I think at that place was when my brother was having a lot more symptoms of OCD and schizophrenia. So he was at his worst. He was doing really bad. He wouldn't let people talk really close near him because he would say that people are spitting in his face. He would constantly be washing his hands nonstop over and over. He would talk really bad to my mom a lot. He would just have a lot of episodes. Didn't want to take his medication. And he's a lot better now. Like, he doesn't do that where he can't talk to people. He just walks backwards and stands really far away. and does things backwards sometimes and still washes his hands a lot, but he's not as bad as he used to be, like his attitude and the way he treats people. But he also is in the hospital right now, like the mental hospital, I guess. I don't know what it's called, because he's been living in the streets since I couldn't deal with him, you know, throwing up all over the floor and not cleaning up, and also putting all his feces on the walls and stuff like that. So I told him if he wasn't going to follow rules, then he couldn't stay. And that's why he ended up going back on the streets. When our mom actually ended up passing away, a little bit after the whole him being possessed thing, maybe like a year after. So we ended up having to move, and he had to end up stepping it up and things like that. And he kind of did. He was doing better, but he just wouldn't take his medication. And he would still drink a lot and say a lot of weird things and do a lot of odd stuff. And I wasn't living with him for a little while before I ended up moving back with him. And I guess that'll be a story for another time, but this one has just been about that house and my brother and my brothers. Well, anyway, I guess the story is coming up to a wrap because I don't want to go in depth into, you know, like after I moved states and all of that. I feel like that's just another video for another day, so I don't want to go in depth, but I guess just know that if you're going through something similar where your family is like this, or you're living in a situation that's a little bit chaotic, you know, just know that you're not alone. And I made it through. I got out of that. I'm good. I'm safe. My brothers are okay. We're all older. We've all learned. Things from our past are from our past. We don't do any of what the things we used to do. We've learned from that. My brother's still working on getting help. I don't know what's gonna happen to him. I don't know what he's gonna do with his life. He's just trying to find housing, and he's been kind of obsessed with this idea that he needs to have a car for him to have success, and he can't talk to us or be associated with us until he's reached success. And for some reason, a car is that to him. So he's gotten a lot of cars, and they've been taken away by the cops. I think he's had like 5 cars now, and they've all gotten taken away. So I don't know if he will get his dream come true. Okay guys, so this is what my makeup looks like. I had to not show you guys a few things because I'm running out of storage on my things. So I had to be selective of what I show you. And I just want to mention that I'm sorry if this is kind of like all over the place. Thank you guys for, you know, listening to me and sticking around. I know that sometimes things can be a little difficult and it's hard to see where you're gonna go from where you are, but there's always somewhere, you know, there's always a way out of what you're in, and nothing is permanent. So whatever you feel like you're stuck in now, it's not permanent. And if you want to do something about it, you can. If you guys have, you know, questions you want to ask or things you would like me to go more in depth, just let me know, and I would love to share it, because the whole reason why I'm doing this is because I want you guys to get to know me better, and I want to tell a little bit about my story and not have it be for nothing. Just, you know, also did my hair orange. I love it. It came out beautiful. I think it's freaking amazing. I'm obsessed with it since it is like spooky season. October just hit a couple days ago. It's like October 3rd now, or 4th or something like that. So I wanted to be, you know, festive and do something like this. I haven't dyed my hair in such a long time. Like, it's been years. Like, my past most one of the most popular video, I took it down, was almost at 1 million. I think it had like 800,000 something. It was of me dyeing my hair in like fail, because I tried dyeing it minty blue and my hair is dark. Like, it's super dark. It's not gonna dye minty blue unless I bleached it a lot. And at the time I was super young, I didn't do research, I was impatient, so yeah, I messed up my hair, and you know, people were really mean about it and stuff. And I was uploading a lot of videos, and I just didn't want to be known for hair. I feel like I have a story to tell, and I want to get a message across and inspire people, and hair was not what I wanted to be known for. I mean, I love hair. I think it's cool. Like, yeah, just check out my stuff if you want to see my hair, but at the same time, it's like I'm more than my hair, and my goal and purpose for doing YouTube videos is to help people, so that's why I do them. So this is the final look. I think it's cute. I love it. I didn't do my eyelashes. I really wanted to, but it's too much work, and like I have to cut them, wait for the glue to dry, place them properly, and I just don't want to go through that. I know it would complete the look and it'll make it come together, but I don't want to do it. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video and sticking around till the end. I love my brothers. I know that my family growing up, it was a little bit hectic, but I'm okay with what I went through, and I'm okay with where I am, and I would love it for my brother, you know, to take his medication. I love him. I love my brothers. It was tough growing up, but we're here and I'm good, and I just hope that my story helps people, inspires people, and I can get everyone to see things differently. So that's all, guys. I hope you enjoy. Like I mentioned, you have any questions, let me know. You want me to talk about something else, let me know, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.